I'm back with another video, and my tripod that's holding up my camera is really crappy, and I'm just trying so very hard to survive here, so I really don't have time to replace the tripod, so I'm having to play games with this stupid thing, and it's pissing me off. But anyway, I wanted to do a video. It's been a long time since I actually got in front of the camera and did something, so it's been a long time, so I've been thinking a lot lately, and I'm coming to grips with the fact that my family is very abusive. And I was telling Joel, all the memories that I have of them, and now, back then it was just like, thoughts that kind of flashed in my mind, but now they're very significant. I mean, I see that there was a lot wrong with the things that happened back then, but I didn't really think about it, I guess I just always thought that, once you move out of the house and you're an adult, you do what you want to do, and everybody has their separate lives, and then, you kind of, whatever, do your own thing. I never thought my siblings would go after my ability to take care of myself, and maybe because they are very likely to be abusive people, they don't realize that people have to survive. Their little competitive bullshit game, was so fun for them. They didn't realize that I was suffering and struggling, and this was just something that they were just used to doing because it's a ritual in some dysfunctional families. It's very normal to, misbehave and taunt and do terrible things to a person. It's like bullying that never stops. It doesn't end when you leave the household. And they always remember you as the person that they could take advantage of, And so they think that, you're always going to be that person. But surprise, surprise, I'm not always that person. I am that person, but I'm not playing the BS anymore. Okay, I get it. I understand. And I was thinking about, in the past, there were people who would come up to me, random, and try to tell me things, like there was this one lady who was very kind to me. I will never forget her. I don't really see it necessary to mention her name, but I do remember her just telling me out of the blue one time about how she was different than the rest of her siblings, and how her mother made a point of letting her know that she was the black sheep of the family, and the scapegoat of the family. And basically she was telling me how her brothers and sisters all got brand new bikes, and her mother gave her this crappy one. I mean, it was always very clear to her that she was not a part of them. And I kept thinking, why are you telling me this story? I mean, I was very grateful for the story, because to me that was a very important story that she told me. I really listen hard to people's life stories because they're very important, and there are messages inside of them. I just now realize that there's probably she just wasn't sharing a memory with me. Sometimes people bring up their personal experiences or experiences of other people because they're trying to, in a roundabout way, tell you, wake up, something's going on here. I never paid that much attention to it. I really didn't. I mean, I just figured my family was doing their thing, and I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to do what I need to do, and this bullshit has been going on for years, just like years, and I'm finally starting to wake up. It's very shocking. My family probably never realized they were abusive, and when I was younger, I was like in second grade. And we had this little introduction. We were talking about Shel Silverstein, and we also were talking about feelings, emotions, and stuff. And I've always thought that these things were important. I remember going home telling my mother how it was really important, about the differences between warm fuzzies and cold pricklies, and feelings were important because I thought she wanted to know. Well, it wasn't something that was important to her, and that was probably she's probably reflecting the day and age that she was raised in. I mean, they just didn't think of people's feelings and how they live, or the reasons why they do things. Sometimes their lives back then seemed very you just do it. You don't think about having a job that you have specific goals or plans. You get what you get and you go to work. Okay, well, I'm a little different than that, and I don't know, just differences of opinions and whatever the thing is. But the fact is, it was something that needed to be talked about at home. You know, if the intent was not to hurt, if the intent was to be constructive, it was something that should have been brought up directly to me at home. You know, you don't bring issues relating to religion, political beliefs, or things like that out in the public sector. Very foolish. I don't want to think about it anymore. It's time for me to move on. But I do want to do different videos, you know, that have different or levels or aspects or points of intrigue in this whole story, because the more it starts to come together, the more it's like, whoa, you know, this is weird, and it's like an awakening. It's quite strange. It's like, you know, the reality hits me. You know, this is just your reality. This is my reality. You know, and it's very strange. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I'm very much interested in the healthy workplace. What's this? The healthy workplace? Yeah, the healthy workplace bill. You know, apparently this California was the first to introduce this healthy workplace bill in 2003, but we have yet to pass it. And I think a lot of people are reluctant to pass this bill because maybe people don't really understand what mobbing and workplace bullying is and what it does. You know, and if people tend to think, well, you just ignore it. But they make it in a way, they make it that you can't ignore it. You know, they make it to take it to the point of where it becomes an all-out fight for your life, basically. And then this escalates to, you know, workplace mobbing can oftentimes escalate into community harassment. And in this case, this is what has happened to me. And the issue is that this should not be, there should be policies and procedures in place so where corruption doesn't go out of the workplace and corruption doesn't come in. So I am hoping that people will look more into the importance of this, because it is important. It's affecting many people's lives. Not just in California, it's happening all around. A lot of it has to do with, like I said, corruption and ignorance. There's a lot of people in positions of power and people who are working, whether they be in administration, they might be even law enforcement, they may be lawyers themselves, whatever. A lot of these people are ignorant in their profession, in issues that are very basic and in your face every day. Okay, and I'm not trying to bash people. This is not the point. The point is we have a serious problem to where I even look at this form of bullying almost like a brand new Holocaust that is affecting many people, who some people are even getting forced to the point of where they're committing suicide over this issue. I mean, it is a very serious issue. It is life-threatening, and so many people are affected. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have so much technology, we have so much freedom, which I'm very grateful for this freedom, but I think a lot of people don't know how to act. They don't know how to live within the guidelines of freedom. They need to understand that yes, you're free to do what you want to do, but you can't affect the lives of other people. And that's why we have employment laws. That's why we have laws in general. And the sad part is we don't pay attention to them. Nobody pays attention to them. And that's the very point I'm trying to make. It's terrifying, and conduct is important. And when we have to change our conduct, and there's going to be more videos I will do on that later when I have the time and when I feel refreshed enough. I have a lot going on in my mind right now, so much that I know that it's time to make a video, because I can't bombard Joel with just one more comment about this issue. You know, I know it can get very overwhelming for the person who's taking care of you emotionally or whatever. It's draining. It is draining because it's the same old BS all the time, and to them, okay? Now, I'm not to say that he doesn't have compassion or he doesn't understand. I guess he doesn't understand how psychologically traumatized I am. He doesn't realize the impact that this has had on me. And I don't need to go into it. I mean, when he starts to understand, it's almost like his brain collapses and he wants to just try to, like, move over or not think about it. It's too disturbing. I'm disturbed by it. I'm extremely disturbed by it. And it's going to take a long time for me to heal over this. I'm going to tell you that. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so in 2014, Governor Jerry Brown signed the AB 2053 into law. This is not the equivalent of the Healthy Workplace Bill, but specifically adds to abusive conduct to the required biannual 2-hour classroom or other effective interaction, training, and education for supervisors of all employers in California with over 15 employees. And I think this is a positive step, okay? But once again, we have all kinds of laws that have been on the books for years, and it seems as though they get overlooked, okay? I'm sure a lot of people who are in recruiting professions, people who work in HR right now, may have briefly heard of it, but are they putting it into, do they put these things into place? And that's my point. I mean, all kinds of bills, amendments, get changed. I mean, that's not just in like human resources or whatever, but also like in accounting. For example, sometimes sales tax changes in one location or whatever. You have to keep abreast to the changes. Changes are always going to occur. So, sometimes like I used to go to a lot of seminars that would cover these topics, and I try really hard to, initiate these changes because it's the law. Okay, it protects the company in case weird little things like this happen, okay? And this, to me, is very weird. I'm feeling the impact of the weirdness probably more than anyone else, okay? If you were somehow psychologically manipulated into participating in this, and now you're looking back thinking, oh my God, what did I do? Okay, this is a part of the psychological phenomenon, okay? It's the fact that people don't ask questions. The fact that they tend to respect authority without asking questions. And the sad part about it is that we want to have respect for people who are in positions of authority, but yet it's always been looked down upon to question authority. And we have to have both, okay? It shouldn't be something bad to question authority. It's not a bad thing. Now, there can be a point where some people question authority to where they're just being disrespectful, okay? They're just being disrespectful, and they're, being facetious, and they're just trying to stir up trouble. Okay, but that's not the case. I mean, people have the right to wonder, is this a well-thought-out plan? Okay, is it a well-thought-out plan? Because there can be serious consequences, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? In this case, nobody did, okay? They thought that these people are my relatives, they have some sort of say over my life. They don't have any say over my life, especially if it's something that's being kept secret. If it's being kept secret, they're doing something deviant, okay? Obviously, it's something wrong there, okay? They're breaking the law, okay? Anything that's going to be kept secret from the person that is going to affect the most is wrong, okay? Plain and simple, okay? But that should have given them some sort of clue, okay? But for human resource professionals, people in these positions, I have a very hard time dealing with that. I have a very hard time dealing with that because there's no excuse. There's no excuse why you should have a job and do what you want to do, and I can't make my choices. Okay, that's insane. Very, very, very crazy. Anyway, yeah, repeated conduct, training, I think is important. And, I think, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, that I believe that this form of harassment is far more common than sexual harassment training. And I know that, it's required, they talk about it to managers, and also, it's a part of the employee handbook or, an orientation package. But the thing is that it's not that it's not important. I'm just saying is it's that form of harassment happens, yes, it does, but the most common are usually the ones relating to the harassment that relates to, I would say, race, religion, your sex, specific sex, or whatever, and but that would fall under sexual harassment. But then also, the little taunting, the teasing, and the bullying that goes on. And so, unfortunately for some people, it's very hard for them to fall under, like, the protected class. In my case, I was harassed for issues that fall under the protected class. But there are some people who may be getting harassed because they have, I don't know, they're a male and they're white, but they might have, I don't know, handlebar mustache. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing one out there. I don't know. I can't think of anything else, okay? But whatever the case is, they're being harassed. And for those issues that don't fall under a protected class, that's where it becomes very difficult to pinpoint, okay? But that's why this needs to be outlined, and it needs to be very specific. Abusive conduct is defined in California law as conduct of employer or employee in the workplace with malice that a reasonable person would find hostile, offensive, and unrelated to an employer's legitimate business interest, okay? And so that is basically what it is. So, you know, there was this one lady, I remember this other girl was taunting her because they didn't like each other for whatever reason. And so she mispronounced the other lady's name, and the lady said, "Don't call me that." And then she did it again. She called her that name, and then mispronounced her name on purpose. And then, you know, she flew off in a rage, and she even had tears in her eyes, okay? So the thing is that, you know, some people might think, okay, well, I just did this, this, and this, and this. You don't know. How do we know that the lady who got upset over being called something else other than her name, that didn't trigger for her some sort of trauma or something? And if she's being polite and saying, you know, you're crossing some boundaries here, please don't do that again, because it affects her. It affects her. And so the other person should respect that. You don't have the right to, you know, invade somebody's space and tell them and force your BS on them. You don't have the right to do that. You're affecting somebody else. You're abusing your freedom, okay? That's where it becomes a problem. Yes, there is freedom, but there's freedom within yourself, okay? You have the right to do what you want to do. You don't have the right to affect other people's freedom. You don't have the right to do that. So, yeah, it's this sort of thing. So the lady who was upset, some people might think she's being petty. No, you don't have the right to question how this woman feels. She is entitled to feel any way she wants to, and she has the right to say, you know what, this is wrong. I'm not comfortable with it, okay? Now, my issue wasn't quite that petty. Mine escalated into some weird catty issue that my siblings have been feeling for God knows how long, since I came out of the womb. And now, you know, it escalated into some racist issue, religious issue, and I don't know what. I mean, that's all so very foolish, but you know what? I'm under a protected class, okay? And so I had every right to sue every single person who got involved in this nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But for some people, they don't, and I'm hoping that they will, because no harassment in any way, shape, or form should be tolerated in the workplace. It is wrong. It is wrong. And for some people who think that you're being petty, if your kid was going through this in your school, in his school, every day, okay, you would take your kid out of that school and enroll him somewhere else. You know you would, okay? And so you're dealing with somebody's life here. Not only is this person, like, robbing you of your lunch money, these people are robbing you of your ability to have a future, to have savings, to have, you know, the ability to plan your life, my life or whatever, the way that I want to, and this is affecting many other people, and people are manipulating strings, okay? They're playing puppet master. BS. It's against the law. It's everything that you're supposed to have known if you're in that position, okay? And it's your responsibility to know them. It's your responsibility to keep up on them, okay? Because if you don't, somebody like me has the right to sue you, to sue take everything that you have. Okay, that's exactly why I'm upset. I'm sitting here struggling, and people are getting away scot-free. BS. Okay, but yeah, I think the most important part of it is the fact that you want to nip workplace mobbing in the bud before it becomes a community problem. And it can't escalate into the community. I want to do a lot of videos. I really want to do a lot of videos. I want to illustrate. I want to talk about how the importance of behavioral conduct is in the workplace, how checks and balances are important in the workplace. They're important. They are important. They cannot be overlooked. And, so anyway, so far, 26 states have introduced the Healthy Workplace Bill or have modeled on it. No state has yet passed the bill, although Tennessee has passed a bill limited to public sector employees, and several state legislators have vetoed it. I'm really hoping that people will catch on, okay? Especially people who, there's so many targeted individuals, you know, we need to have a voice. We need to start talking about this issue so that this issue can change. And it's one thing to have a law, but if you have people who are ignorant of it, or people who know it or not enforcing it, they don't see the importance. It's time that they see the importance of it, okay? There are people literally dying under this, okay? It is wrong. It is wrong, wrong, wrong. And so, I would like to touch more on that later, but right now I just need to get this video out and figure, at least I feel good that I did something, So I want to do some follow-up videos and talk a little bit more. I'm just letting more crap out of my head, and God knows there's a lot of crap in there because I'm dealing with a lot of stuff in this whole noggin, but it's important that I stay busy. So anyway, I'm going to end this video, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.